One of the things that was really exciting about this whole process and scoring it with Ryan and Hayes was that it was really a thrill to just be like, new mind, beginner mind is the greatest way to enter something where we don't have any preconceived notions about the way this is supposed to go down at all. Any idea is on the table. Just finding weird sounds and trying crazy ideas that were completely out of left field. And sometimes we'd strike gold and sometimes we would completely swing and miss. And that was just a really wonderful way to kind of approach this thing.
One thing that's really helpful with having Zach as a fellow composer in this process is that it's somebody that's not there the whole time. So Zach would kind of jump between the edit, VFX, and us. And so he'd always be bringing fresh ears to things. So we might all be excited about something we made, and he leaves for 45 minutes and comes back and realizes it's not working, which can be gutting at the time. But it's a really important part of the process is that somebody actually has a little bit of perspective, and Zach really brought that throughout the whole thing.
One of my hopes going into Weapons, really early on was maybe there's no score. Kind of as we were going through the script and scoring these different moments, it just became clear that like the music was so fun and lively. So very often less is more. We tried to be as sparse as possible. A lot of the process for us was laying down a bunch of music, and then as we would just kind of get iterative with it, it was just, hey, you know what, mute that track. Oh, it's even better. Hey, mute that track. Oh my God, it's even better.
A lot of the real instruments were done in pre-production. A lot of the stuff that we made early on in the studio, we were capturing synths and playing things live, percussion, that kind of stuff. Then when we got to New York, because the way we did this was that we came in very early to the process of the edit, and we were in a small room next to the editing room.
I'm not thinking about music in terms of I know exactly what the melody is going to be or, exactly what arrangement I'm going to use. But I definitely have a vibe in my head of where the score will be present and what the score is supposed to be accomplishing in the scene. And so what was really great about working with these guys was before I even went to Atlanta and started shooting, Ryan and Hayes and I sat down and we went through the script and we talked about every musical moment that we knew we were going to need. And we kind of scored the movie. We got together and we made music to the script so that by the time I would touch down in Atlanta for pre-production, I had 15 or 20 tracks that were done.
The last sort of sonic DNA that I would mention is harp. It just gives this, it's just enough of the sort of fairy tale, it's just in a few moments throughout the film, but it kind of injects this child fairy tale wonder into it, along with these other sort of dreadful sounds.
The harp in the cold open, where the little girl is telling the story, it gives us permission to kind of accept the insanity and the magic that is coming. We are laying the table that this is a tall tale told by a child. And I think the harp is like the perfect place setting for that.
The harp doesn't really come back after the cold open until after Marcus's chapter when Justine and Archer have figured it out. And then Alex's chapter starts, and that part makes the hair on my head stand up because it's, oh, this is where the breadcrumbs have led.
Also like ugetsu, some of those like Japanese sticks, I feel like those are so evocative and create such dread, even though there's no melody whatsoever. You just get that like hollow wood tone. And so like our gas station attack is completely like taking ugetsu and just injecting crystal meth into it and letting it go crazy,
You and every other person in this city, believe me, the message is loud and clear. I'm the problem. Got it.
You know what? I think that's the first honest thing I've heard you say. You are the problem.
What, you want to get in my face? You want to threaten me?
Nobody's threatening you right now.
You're barking up the wrong tree,
oh,
okay?
You know what? This whole victim persona that you're taking on, it might have the police fooled, it might have... Stop thinking of yourself.
Marcus?
You and I are going to have a conversation.
there's sort of two themes, and that sort of just captures the question of, what happened? Where did these kids go? And then the second theme is sort of the answer, and that's sort of Gladys's theme.
One of the bigger things to score that was the most score heavy was the cue is called The Flight, but when the kids are running, at the end you see where they're going. That was a tough one to crack at first, because originally we had talked about something, we tried things with sort of sweeping strings and something that felt very big, and ultimately it kind of worked where we just tried slowing down this one sample. I've called it like a Ride of the Valkyries meets William Basinski. It's just the sort of degraded, the super slowed down sound, but it sounds kind of triumphant, but in a very corrupted way.
We stripped out all diegetic sound. So you've got this really, really in-your-face synth wash, and then this kind of like arresting. It sounds like a wail from hell, but you don't hear any feet or any crickets or anything, and it lets you just kind of live in a dream state. And I thought that was a really fun way to kind of lean into the score. Most of this movie, we're trying to hide the score under the diegetic sound. We have a wash of cicadas, and then Ryan and Hayes are kind of injecting doom just under the cicadas, But in that moment, the score is completely dominating, and we don't know if we're in a dream or if it's real life. And I thought that was a really fun approach. There's no melody in this whole movie unless there's like a child's perspective being showcased, So like, and that score that you guys wrote, that theme, when like she pulls him down in the candlelit room and is like giving him his mission to go and like steal all the things. It's like, it's a really like beautiful kind of, it reminds me of like Danny Elfman, kind of an Edward Scissorhands sort of a vibe, where it's like kind of haunting but gorgeous at the same time, and very much a fairy tale. And it's like, you realize in that moment, like, this is a movie about a witch and a little boy. It's a Grimm's fairy tale, and we're kind of allowing the score to sort of reveal the heart of the movie in that way. And I'm very, very proud of that we were able to kind of keep that tucked under a behind a curtain until it was time. It's great.
This is where the story really starts.